Hey, hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So glad that you accepted my invitation because I've not had that many chefs on my chat. You're probably
Wow,
the second one, third one actually. Yeah, amongst many, many
wow,
others. So big fan of yours. I follow your food labs, and every time I see it, I'm like, my mouth is drooling. So
thank you.
how has the journey been as a chef?
Thank you. First of all, thank you for having me, and it's my pleasure to be here and talking with you. And I've seen your work, I love your work, and I just, sometimes think about this that you've studied a lot, you're so brainy, and you've done all sorts of things. And I'm a person who can just do one thing at a time. So really inspired by that side of you. Um, so thank you
Thank
for
you.
having me.
Thank you.
Yeah, my journey as a chef. Actually, chef. Sometimes people think that it's a very, professional word, or it's a very big term, but actually it is not. Being a chef is just about cooking good food,
Yeah.
um, and surprisingly, there's no professional course or there's no proper degree who certifies that this person is a chef. A person who can cook good food and can lead a kitchen
Yeah.
is called a chef. So I would say I could speak about my cooking journey. That how did I start cooking, and how did I start cooking and loving to cook food and feed people. That is what my journey has been. Uh, I started cooking when I was 12 years old, and I come from a very humble background where my most interesting nighttime meals used to be, a trip to the pav bhaji wala on the Mumbai streets with my
Yeah.
father. So me, my father, and my sister, we used to go on the
Mm.
bike to eat pav bhaji. And as a kid, that is when I first time saw someone else cooking apart from my home,
Mm. Mm.
and it was sort of really magical for me
Mm.
that how that guy is adding everything, and how this pav bhaji turns out to be so delicious.
Yeah.
And that is when I came back home. I told my mom I want to cook pav bhaji. I was in fourth grade,
Mm.
and
Oh, wow.
she supported me. She's like, okay, let's do this, and that is when I started. I cooked my first pav bhaji when I was 12.
Oh,
Started
wow.
my cooking journey there.
Hmm.
uh, One really interesting story which I tell all of my viewers is that, as a kid, I used to feel that my mom has a superpower,
Hmm.
and she could make people smile
Hmm.
through her art of cooking. So whenever
Hmm.
she served someone food,
Hmm.
they used to
Hmm.
have smiles on their faces, and I used to feel like it's a superpower my mom has, and I want that superpower.
Hmm.
So the first time I made my pav bhaji, and I served it to my family, they had smiles on their faces. As a kid, that is the first time I realized that okay, I could have that superpower,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
and that is when it became a little more. From a hobby, it just became turned into a passion. That okay,
Hmm.
let's cook more food, and I kept cooking in school, then in college, and then finally decided to actually do a professional course, which is hotel management.
Hmm.
So did that, yeah, and figured out the way. Uh,
Which is fantastic. I mean, you share this, but I would like to share with you that my brother's a chef, and I have seen
yeah,
his journey as to how he loved experimenting with food. And of course, we were the guinea pigs because he would do different, experiments, and he would say, "How
yeah,
does this taste?" And now my son, who's 13, is like you. He's interested in cooking, so
wow,
he's just made himself a cauliflower Manchurian. Of course, he follows you and many other, food labs, so to say, to learn because I am not that into cooking. I mean, I love eating good food, but it's not my
oh,
passion to cook.
okay,
So yeah, I mean, I'm surrounded by chefs, which is I can completely identify with you when you say that food does bring a smile to our faces.
yeah,
Now that is one part of your journey that okay, you decided to become a professional chef or a cook. How did the other part, which is the social media, I mean, you've explored it literally on social media with your views and the success that you enjoy. How did that journey begin? What made you decide that okay, cooking is one thing, I could become a chef, a master chef or a sous chef, and then the head chef, and do that kind of journey, or traverse into this social media? How did
yeah.
that journey happen?
So I will say that it was not by choice that I actually started making content. Very contrary to what I do, and it is very funny that I'm not a social person. Um, I'm a big time introvert. I don't like to talk to a lot of people. I just like to do my stuff, be in my own circle. So I have never been a social media person in that way where I'll upload a picture that I'm doing this, or I'm going out to eat. So that you won't see it on my personal profile ever. But the circumstances when I started your food lab, it was a very interesting phase in my life. I was really bad at studies in school, never wanted to study. But when I did hotel management, I topped my university. And that is when, I believe that whenever you do something which you love, you're going to ace at it. Nobody can stop you. And then I got an offer from MasterChef India to be a food producer with them. So I worked with like awesome chefs like Sanjeev Kapoor, Ranveer Brar, Vikas Khanna, and these guys. So all of this was happening, which was like a big booster for my career. That as a chef, I want to become a chef, and just passing out of college, and I get to work with these brilliant chefs on a big TV show was something which was a big Kickstarter for me. But just after that, I did not know what to do. I was getting more show offers to work behind the scenes, but I did not want to do that. And I did not want to actually ask money from my father to do something. I wanted to do something on my own. So I opted to join his factory, and he's into engineering and stuff like that. And for a year and a half, I was working with him. I was not cooking at all. And that is when I realized that I need to be in touch with food and, to remain sane and to be like happy. So one fine day I told my dad that if I don't cook now, I'll stop cooking, and I love it so much that I'll start hating it. I would never cook in my life. And he told me, what do you want? You don't want to come to the factory? What is it? And I was like, just give me Saturdays and Sundays off. I'll figure it out. I'll do something. That is when, I started making videos. I shot one video. I liked it. Shot 100 videos before actually releasing my first video.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so weekends I used to shoot. I used to get my cameras on rent, call my juniors as interns, took whatever help I could take from my friends because I did not have money to pay people. So everybody used to come help on Saturdays and Sundays, made a lot of videos. And in 2016 in April, I uploaded my first video. And that also happened after a lot of people pulled me down, that this is not going to work. And that was out of retaliation that, okay, I'll prove myself now. And I just uploaded my first video. My third video went viral. It got 1.7 million views. My third video itself.
What was the video about? I should go and watch it.
It was a no-bake mango cheesecake.
Oh my God. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. Yes. And it just exploded. And within a month, I had 1 lakh followers for your food lab on Facebook. And the journey continues. One thing which was really in focus, that I'll do one video a day, what people don't do, what chefs don't do, or any other food channel was not doing at that time, that I'll do one video a day. So when people come back tomorrow, they have something new to watch. And that consistency has helped me to grow this quick. In like about 4 years, we are 1 million plus on all platforms, doing really good. But we still are really consistent. Like I was just shooting my, my team members are actually now recording the final shots there. You can see it in the background. You can see the highlights.
Yes, it's a movement. Yes.
Yeah. So we were shooting, and after this live, I'll again continue to shoot. But it's an amazing journey. It's very unique to think that you don't have to be a social media person to actually make or create videos, to put your talent out. That is very important, I feel, to realize, because a lot of people out there say that हम तो बात ही नहीं कर सकते किससे, or we are not good at conversations. But you actually don't need that to show your talent. You learn that through this process. So talking to a lot of people in these 4 years have made me realize that I can talk. I can actually face the camera now. Yeah. So that happens. It's a part and parcel of the journey.
Yeah, so I can completely identify with you, and very strange because even yesterday's guest, which is Samir Soni, Also an
Yeah.
introvert. I am an introvert, and so are you. So this weekend is turning out to be an introvert's weekend. And
Yeah.
I come from a place where initially when I shifted to Mumbai, I'm not from Mumbai, when I shifted to Mumbai, I would get nervous entering a big store. I used to be
Oh,
that kind of a shy, introverted person. So from there to now, where, yeah, I mean, bring on, 10,000 people, not a problem. I can address it. It's all about practice. And that's
yeah.
a good takeaway for all our viewers that,
Yes.
no matter what your personality is, if you practice enough, you can change whatever it is that you want to. Or not.
Yeah.
It's up to you. It's always a choice. Your videos are very beautifully shot. How do you plan those? I mean, you just make even a regular soup, like spinach soup, your last post, looks
Yeah.
so divine. It's like food of gods, it looks like that. How do you conceptualize that given that you have produced so much content?
Um, Actually, what happened is because of my, one video a day concept,
Yeah.
it started becoming like a routine for me that, okay, I have to upload something tomorrow. And sometimes it can be really taxing, that
Yeah.
you have to do the same job every day.
Yeah.
It becomes like office, and you don't want to have that office kind of an environment when you are doing something really creative.
Yeah.
So the only thing which made me, really happy about is, just giving me that one step higher aim that, my video should look like this now. And that is when I started researching a lot. The best thing about my team right now, who, we are a bunch of really young people. I have turned 28 now in June, and everybody's at least 3 or 4 younger to me in my team. So
Okay.
we are a group of very young people who, and none of us are from the photography or videography background.
Oh my God. Okay.
So none
So
of
it's
us
not
have ever,
professionally shot.
yeah, none of us have ever learned photography or videography.
Okay.
Not even a 1 day workshop. We have never
Oh
done
my
that
God.
even.
Wow.
So we've learned it ourselves. So it's just like, okay, you look at this, you see how do you light it, what angles you can take, and try it out. So this is something I have learned with my journey, that no matter, you don't know anything, you don't need a university to actually teach you.
Yeah.
You have to be a learner and keep learning.
Yeah.
And that is what has helped us make these videos look how they look right now. So this is one thing which I look up to every day, that, tomorrow I can shoot this in a better way. Like, when I was doing one Kanda Bhaji video last week, I was like, how do I make it look so good that people actually you should envy me, that, how can he have so much of fun on screen having those Kanda Bhajis? So, so that is what I aim for. And then we put in elements. We look how, and we look at how food should look on screen. The best part about our team is that because I know food really well, and also I know the videography part really well by now. So I tell my team, I know myself, that which part of that food while cooking will look really good on camera, and that is what we pay more attention at. So
Okay.
it is like a long process to shoot. Usually, what production houses do is shoot about 8 or 9 recipes in a day.
Yeah.
I take sometimes 2 days to shoot one recipe. So it is a long process. Like today, we have been shooting just one recipe since morning, and I think it'll take another couple of hours to complete it. I've completed cooking it completely, but now the images, the final shots, and everything will happen now.
So everything is in-house, the editing and everything is
Yeah,
in-house. Okay.
everything from scratch.
Right, right. Now, your name is very peculiar, Your Food Lab, which also has a little bit of science, because I'm a science student, so that completely took, my, like, thing happened in my brain to say it's a lab. Why the name Your Food Lab? Does it have any meaning? Does it have a context or a story to it?
So when I was thinking what, my blog should be called, I wanted to be the food lab. And why lab? Because I do a lot of experimentation with my food. A lot of my food is like never seen before kind of recipes. In fact, my first 100 recipes on Your Food Lab were recipes which were really different. If you would have searched these videos on the internet, you wouldn't have found them really. Even the no-bake mango cheesecake was very different. Mango flowers were not that common at that time. So I'd made a mango flower on the top, done it with a very basic concept. So things like that. So a lot of experimentation goes into my food. That's why the term lab. And so the food lab was actually taken. It was bought by a company in US. So I could not buy that. So the next thing was like, how do I keep it food lab and still continue with it? And that's when it's just struck me that I could name it Your Food Lab, because whatever I'll be doing in my lab would be for you guys. So ultimately, it's a lab for the people. So it is Your Food Lab, technically. So I'm doing everything for the viewers. So it's their lab.
Okay.
So in fact, a lot of people, when they text me or DM me on Instagram, they say that, I love my lab. I love my food lab. So they are like, they really connect with it and feel that this is something I'm doing for them. So that's just the connection bit, what I feel is important.
Now, given that you also like, because it's a lab, you've also obviously experimented and things like that. Have you done any molecular gastronomy? Have you tried that? Have you?
Yeah, I've done that a lot. I've learned it a little bit while I was in college. I've never put it out in front of people because, food content for me is something which I believe when I put it out, I believe that anybody can, actually try that at home. So I have not really done it because I don't want tomorrow people to, order stuff online. Everything's really readily available online nowadays. They can, actually call in for sodium alginate and stuff like that and try and make something at home. And I don't want them to ruin it completely. So until and unless I feel that, I can do it really perfectly and tell people how to do it really perfectly at home, till then I won't actually put it out on the platform. So I have to be really sure about how do I present it. Initially, while writing about what Your Food Lab will be, there was a whole lot of things about molecular gastronomy, what I had written down. I still have that diary where everything is written. I wanted to do edible helium balloons. I wanted to do chutney spears and stuff like that. But then I realized that people in India right now, the audience what I have, they are looking for something really different, what is very easily doable at home. So let's not make this really niche. That I can do maybe sometime later on, that I can tell people that I do this over here. It's something where I'm having fun. It's just for entertainment purpose what I do. So that would come later on onto YFL, but not now.
Okay. And any plans of opening a restaurant? Because that would be the next, question, or a very obvious question. That's
it's a very obvious question. It comes my way a lot. But as I, began saying that I am not a multitasker. I like to do one thing at a time. So right now, when I see that I'm just shooting one recipe for like 12 hours, and if I open up a restaurant, I would like to give it more time. There have been a lot of offers from people who want to actually collaborate and open something with me. But I think, when there have been so many people watching you, they have a really big expectation from you. And if they come to my restaurant and if I'm not there and if I'm not cooking there, I cannot actually, think of that happening. So if that restaurant comes up, at least for a couple of years, I'll be the one cooking every day in that kitchen, at least heading it. So I don't see that happening like for a couple of years now, maybe like 5 years later.
Maybe you should just have a takeaway counter outside your food lab. I'm sure there will be a
yeah, that can happen.
Dish, because every day there's a new dish, right? So there will be repeaters, there will be new people coming in. So I think that would make a great business plan for you.
I think I should collaborate with a real estate guy, tell him that give me a house and you sell the neighbor houses, telling them that I'm going to be your neighbor and I'm going to shoot there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what is the weirdest food that you have consumed in your life?
I have consumed the weirdest. I am a very picky eater. Actually, I can't think of something really weird. I am a very desi person. I don't like very niche kind of food. Surprisingly, a lot of flavors which are like really celebrated, I don't prefer. I don't like caviar. Surprisingly, I don't like truffle that much. Yeah, and it's very surprising for a lot of people when I say that. I don't like cold food. I don't eat sushi. It's
Okay.
uh,
It is
these are all shockers for a lot of people when I say this. And given a choice, if I've given to dine at a 5-star restaurant or have street food, I'll always choose street food because that is what I've grown up with, and that is the kind of food that inspires me. And I feel for a cook, for a chef, to be true to himself is really important, because until and unless you don't realize what do you like eating, I think you can never cook up something which you never like eating yourself. You have to
It will never
understand how
taste
it
good.
tastes.
It will never taste good.
Yeah, so that is why I don't cook those things which I don't like eating. Cold food, I don't like. Just like Indian food, I want it hot, piping hot. Garma garam dal with some nicely freshly made chawal with some ghee.
Yeah.
This is the kind of food I like. So I think more than weirdest kind of foods, I have tried all sorts of street foods, different parts of the world. So that is what I like to have. Yeah, so very picky
So
eater. Yeah.
in street foods, what is it that is quite like a different kind of a food that you've tried? Like, for example, in
Um,
Bangkok, you get all those insects on a stick and things like
no,
that.
not
Which
that. So I'm a very picky eater. I cannot eat it. Very difficult for me to do that. I'll in fact, I'm a non-vegetarian, yes, but the most preferable non-vegetarian food for me would be poultry or mutton or something like that, or seafood. I won't go really out of my way to have something like an octopus even.
a
I
live
know
one.
it could.
There are people who actually relish live octopus, and I'm like, wow, that
Yeah.
must need some guts, because I'm a vegetarian. So for me, non-veg itself is like weird in not in that sense, but you know what I'm saying. But so what I have tasted in India is, the Naga mirchis, the really the
Yes, yes.
cholakyas. I've had pickle of that, and oh my god, that was like quite a spicy journey, so to say. I was dying.
Yeah.
That was interesting. Yeah.
I had some UK friends and they had tried just the chili and they had drank like about 6-7 liters of milk after that. What not they did. It's really hot.
Yeah. Okay. So you said that it's been a tough journey because you produce only one dish a day. How do you get out of the monotony? Because it is like you were saying that it seems like an office kind of a setup that, every day you go in with your team, you prepare one dish and you put it out. How do you break away from the monotony?
I cook while I'm not shooting. That's the thing what keeps me sane. So it's very surprising. I cook the whole day while shooting. But if I want my off time, I cook again, but not in front of the camera. So that is my off time. So like if I want to take an off, I'll tell people that, okay, let's not shoot today. I'll cook for you guys. We'll have fun. We'll eat good food. And that is my off time thing. I don't know. It just gives me that kind of a pleasure where I can actually cook something and I can feed someone. That is what makes me more happier than even actually any of my videos working. So that is why I feel that the restaurant bit, whenever it comes, it should be when I'm cooking and I'm feeding people, because I want that happiness to come to me. That pleasure has to be there. Otherwise, I would not enjoy my work. That is my off time. Also, to break that monotony, I keep trying new things. Like how I said that, I constantly up my game while producing content, that my video should look better every day. So whenever that change comes, I'm really excited about it, psyched about it, that, we pulled it off. It looks more better now. So that is what keeps us going. So as a team, that is the goal, that, okay, let's do something better tomorrow. Let's try shooting in some different environment. So that is how the team goes forward. Personally, I love listening to music. So when I'm cooking, I'll have loud music playing in this lab, and I'll cook all sorts of good food. As a kid, I always replicated street food at home. So I have this huge pav bhaji tawa in my lab, and I cook on it.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, I have a wood-fired oven outside which I built myself. So I'll, bake some pizzas over there. So all of that is what keeps me sane. Weird, but cooking, yeah.
Cooking, back to cooking.
Back to
on
cooking.
Camera and off camera, which is great. I mean, it shows, your passion shows in what you're doing. Everybody goes through ups and downs. So when was it that you were really down and out? If you want to describe the incident, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine too. My question is, how did you get out of it?
The time when I passed out of college, went to MasterChef, and then I had to decide to work with my father. It was not just that I did not know what to do. I was not that that comfortable with I did not have that much resources that I could actually think हाँ चलो ये करना है तो I would get everything sponsored. It was not like that. So there were a lot of things. I wanted to travel to London and study further. I wanted to go to Le Cordon Bleu, one of the best culinary institutes, and study there. But circumstances at that time did not let me do that. I knew if I told my father, he would have, arranged for the funds for it. But I did not want him to do that. That is why I took a drop, kind of a thing. That okay, I am clueless what to do next. And that is when I started to work with my father. It was an amazing experience. Learned a lot from him, how to do business, how to talk to people and stuff like that. But not cooking was a nightmare for me. Almost for a year and a half, I had stopped cooking in my home as well. So that was a time where I felt that I was just being pulled back by each and every force around me. That is the time I explained that one day, I actually told my father that, I'm not happy in life. I want to cook again. But I also knew that if I stopped going to the factory, my father will be all alone. I did not want to actually put him into that situation again. So that Saturday, Sunday thing worked out for me, I just decided to have that balance during that time, that I can do my office work, but I can cook. Let's see where it goes, because I had nothing to lose at that time. And then that is when I started producing content. I gave myself more time to produce 100 videos because I knew that this is going to be my last chance, maybe with food, that if I release this content and if it does not work, I think I'll be pulled back for life and I'll start doing. So one more dream killed, one more idea killed, that sort of a thing. But then I gave it a shot. It worked out, and that is why I've made a video and I tell people that it's titled as "Never Kill Your Stupid Idea." I just tell people that one moment of me telling my father that I'm not happy, that one moment when I shot my first video, and that one particular moment of me uploading it on Facebook. These three moments, that stupid idea of doing this changed my life completely. My last 4.5 years have been amazing, the best years of my life. So if you get that idea, and no matter how stupid it is, whatever people tell you that your idea is stupid, it's not going to work, time waste kar raha hai, all of that sort, just give it a thought, never kill it. So I think ideas which are not tried are killed, and you should never kill a stupid idea. That is what I feel.
But that's unfortunate part of life, right? Like even with the small children, that's what we do. A child comes to you and says something that, oh, I want to do this. And then the parent will say, "Arey, chhod tu school ka homework to nahi kar raha hai, ye kya karega?" That's very sad that we all have the amazing potential in all of us, but most of it gets lost in translation. So it's a great message that you have conveyed to people, that do not, whatever your idea is, go ahead and implement it.
Yes.
And the proof lies in the pudding, literally. I mean, it's there for us to see. Now, coming to your father, how did he react to this whole thing when you went and told him? And the reason I asked you is, again, for the viewers' sake, that how a parent can guide the child, or, the other way around. So how was his reaction?
My father, I've learned a lot from him. When he was married, I know this because, he shared this story with me many times. When he was married, he used to earn $500 a month. At that time, he took my mom on honeymoon to Hong Kong, Singapore, and Malaysia. He's been a risk taker all his life. And he's been a risk taker, and that is what I've learned from him, and that is the reason why he's never told me no for anything, because he knows that these risks is what is going to give you that push in life. He's tried all sorts of things, done crazy things in business, over trading, trying to, get in more stuff and sell it. A lot of things, he's a proper business kind of a guy, and always supported me to, do whatever I wanted. So as a kid, I had a lot of dreams to do when I grew older. First thing was I wanted to be a tabla player. So I've learned 5 years of tabla. A lot of people, I think my viewers also would not be knowing. I've not spoken about this before. Yeah, so I've learned tabla, classical music, and then I gave it up. I wanted to be a cricketer, so I went 2 years of cricket coaching. I wanted to be a jockey, a horse rider, and I used to go like for 6, 7 years. I used to ride horses, and very strongly I wanted to become a jockey. So and he supported everything. He was like, let him explore, and I know that throughout these things, it was not always that he had that money to give me very easily, but he just tried to support it however he could. And I feel because he's been like that, I am like that, I feel that I'm really, really experimental with things. I take risks sometimes that, okay, let's do this and try how it works out. That character has come in from him. And I believe that when I told him that I want to, actually do this now, he was the one who told me that I'll give you 3 years. 3 years, I'll give you the money. I'll do whatever I need to, and I'll give you the money to support your content. If it does not work in 3 years, you realize that this is not something what you want to do, and continue this as a hobby maybe, but not your career. But in 3 months, he told me that stop coming to the factory. You're meant to do this, and you should do this completely full time. So he's been very supportive, and that fact that I know that he'll never say no is something as a son, or as as his children, me and my sister, we think a lot before telling him and asking him for anything, because we know he'll say a yes. So
Right.
that is a
Very
beauty.
perspective on parenting.
Yeah, that is a very beautiful thing. He's never hit us, never scolded us. He's never told me to study. He's like, study how much you can. If you want to study more, study more. If you want to go to better classes, I'll send you to better classes. You don't want to go to classes, don't go. So as a parent, he's always been like that. That is why now, whenever we want to do something or ask him for something, we think a lot, because we know that he's never going to say a no. So we think for our good, that is it good to do this, or is it good to ask him to do this. So it's a very beautiful relationship what me and my father share.
That's good. That's great. That's great to hear. Now, again, when you've established your food lab, there is a big part of it, which is the business part of it.
Yeah.
So is this journey with your father helped you? And the other part to the question is that does it bog you down? Because a lot of times what happens is people who are creative, they don't like to deal. And that's why we see so many of the creative people not making that kind of money. Of course, the new generation is very different. So how do you balance the business part of the aspect with the cooking part?
So it was very difficult to actually, start earning money from your food lab. Almost for a year, I did not earn a single penny out of it. One thing which I knew, that when you have a lot of people watching your content, that is when you can make money, because there are people who will pay for it. So that realization was there when my views were growing and the followership was growing. But yes,
even when the mango cheesecake recipe went viral, even with that, in the third month, after that for 9 months, almost you were not making any money.
This was the third day. So my viral video was the third day. Not, yeah, it was the third day.
Okay, I'm fine.
Yeah, and 12 months. Yeah.
Okay. That's surprising, because generally then brands come on board, right?
Yeah, but brands come on board with their terms. My few brands came in, they were like, we'll give you pans. My mom used to say, यार इतने महंगे बर्तन खरीदने पड़ते, ले ले, at least वो खर्चा नहीं होगा. But then I always say that you have to always evaluate yourself, always evaluate your worth. At least try. I said a no to that brand. I told them that I charge this nominal fees for it. They did not reply back, but after a month, they replied back, and I asked them for 5 times of that money what I had asked them, and they paid for it. They did 10 videos with me. And that is when I realized that, you have to evaluate yourself. Don't go asking people how much should I charge. If you feel you're worth asking that much money, you ask the brand. Uh, they'll say a no or yes.
Yeah.
That is as simple as it. And to
Yeah.
learn that, what I have done is that till date, I have not actually hired an agency, nor I have a manager who's belonging to an agency who works with me to do my brand deals. I handle them all myself. Um, till now, be able to do that. Um, you know, I don't know till when I can handle it myself, but I still do it myself. I go to my dad. I'm like, this brand is coming. I need to give these deliverables. What should I do? My wife is a chartered accountant, so I ask
That was
her
there.
that I'm going to, yeah. So I ask her that how much should I charge this brand, and these are the kind of very general Indian family kind of conversations that go in my house. कि कितना charge करना चाहिए? Uh, and when I feel that it's a good amount, I ask the brand, and it works out surprisingly now. And that journey's been really learning. It's a big learning from me. That now when I have an agency representing me later on, I think now it's getting a little difficult for me to handle it myself. Sometimes I'm working with 6, 7 brands at a time. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so it gets a little taxing, but now I've learned the game, so I know what these people will be doing for me. So I know if something's wrong is happening to me. So I just want to tell people who want to become creators or who are creative people, learn it yourself first, so that you know what the game is. You won't be lost out. You won't be misguided by people, and you will learn to deal with brands. Because one thing, what happens, I know that you've worked with a lot of bigger production houses, and you know how it works. Sometimes when you're working with a big brand and you are a small creative person, you feel like you're just a tiny bit in front of that big giant. But you should believe that you are an equivalent, because if that person, that brand, or that production house is coming to you, you should at least know that you are worth it. They need you. At least that bit has to be there. So
True.
consider yourself as an equal, and then talk to them. You don't feel that I'm just a newbie, and don't
But
treat yourself like that. Give yourself a little bit of value. Don't be overconfident. Don't oversell yourself. All of that is true, but at least know your value. Yeah.
Superb. That's great. So you pretty much you have been a one-stop shop. You're creating
Yes.
you're cooking, you're handling the business part, and everything with Elan, everything very stylishly and very beautifully, which again shows in your content. So where does this confidence come from? And do you ever get shaken to say, "Oh my God, I did such a big mistake in maybe a brand deal that fell through"? Does it happen?
Yeah, it happens quite often. Sometimes wrong calculations. Sometimes you feel that you should have put in this clause. You should not have given rights. All of that happens, but these are learnings. Like I said,
Learning.
you learn it. Next time you can charge for it. And yeah, I feel that it is not a loss if you are learning something out of it. That is one. Secondly, yes, mistakes do happen, but you say that, okay, don't repeat it again. So if you've done that mistake yourself, you won't ever repeat it. If you're repeating it again and again, that means that you're not learning. So
Yeah.
that is something what I tell to myself, that chalo ye baar ho gaya, next time nahi hona chahiye. And I get really taken aback sometimes when I accomplish something. So it's the other way around. I sometimes feel that how did this happen? Um, I look at it, say that, maybe I'm blessed, we are blessed as a team to, accomplish it, and then you move on. Because I've seen the biggest accomplishments what have come to my life. My first biggest accomplishment was, having 1 million followers on Facebook, which happened in a year of, starting Your Food Lab. And I used to look up to that day, that, when that moment would be there. It happened. I refreshed my phone screen. I saw that number. For 2 minutes, I was silent. And after that, the most surprising thing is that instead of celebrating or going and doing a party, the next thing, my editor, who's been working with me from day one, my editor and director, Akshay, the next thing I told him that, now this next thing, what we need to look up is for the 5 million mark. This moment has passed by. We did it. That's it. So I have just realized that, when you achieve something, that's just a very small, brief moment in your life, actually. It just fades away. You sleep that night, and the next day you have to hustle again, work again. So it's not that you have achieved it all. You want to achieve something more. And that is what I feel a lot of new creators, bloggers, who watch people, bigger creators than them. They feel that, 8 million followers ho gaye, but it is not like that. The day you achieve that, you will feel that, that's nothing. You have a lot more to do. So that is what we should learn, that, move on in life, look for better things. That is what will keep you going.
But the other side to it is a lot of YouTubers or content creators get bogged down because their whole life revolves around how many followers I have. And that takes away their attention. I mean, they start the process to become a creator. However, this whole number game takes a toll. How have you stayed away from it? Given that you celebrated 1 million, gone to the next level, which you aimed for, how did you keep away from that? That obsession of the followers.
So one thing, you stop refreshing and looking at your followers. That is one big thing. Refresh your followers when you are close to that goal. So whenever I've been close to that 1 million mark on each platform, the last 10,000 I've refreshed, that when will this happen? Now, after you cross that, you stop watching that number. Let people tell you, "Arey, itna ho gaya." Let people because they are going to tell you, your family is going to tell you. You stop looking at that number. You think that what video are you going to post next? That is what is going to, increase that number. What people do is they think that if I make this video, my followers will grow. I feel that if I make my production look better, if my recipes are better, people are going to enjoy doing this at home, enjoy watching this at home. And when that happens, that views and followers and everything, that grow organically. So that is one thing. The other part is that a lot of people do it because they want more money to flow in. So if they have that big amount of numbers to show it to a brand, the brand will pay more money. With me, it's a little different, works in a different way. I never tell people that I have this much followers. I tell them I make this kind of a video. So if your brand wants to be seen in this kind of a video, I am confident enough that I am only one to do it in India right now. So that confidence has come in while making content. I know I'm one of a kind of a content creator who makes food look this better. So that confidence is what makes me believe that, numbers is something which is very important. It's just like money, money is really important. But to make that amount of money, you have to do something really extraordinary. So that hard work and, we put in like about 15, 18 hours a day to produce content. We sleep very less sometimes. And that is what keeps us going. So we don't get pulled down by that number game because it is for days we don't. The focus. So a right way to put it is, that put your focus on making what content you are doing right now and not the numbers and money. I know it's very important, but if you do that rightly, if you do the content bit rightly, these two things are going to follow. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's great. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your journey on Dr. A Talks. I'm really, really grateful that you took your time out from cooking. So I will allow you to go back so that we get a wonderful recipe tomorrow.
Yes.
And keep enjoying your cooking and keep putting out that beautiful content because we all really love it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And sorry, I talk a lot sometimes. So if I've bothered you by talking a lot, I'm really sorry.
That is the idea. That is exactly the idea, that we want to hear you talk.
Yeah. Thank you.
We want to listen to your journey.
Thank you.
That's inspiration to many, many people, right, who are on the chat.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And maybe we should do this again sometimes, and it should happen the other way around. And, our viewers should know more about you. So we'll do it soon.
Anytime.
To know more about you, I'll do a questionnaire and I'll ask you questions next time. I'll be listening.
Done. So I'm doing my second master's in psychology from Harvard, and currently the module which I've chosen is psychology of eating. So maybe we can delve into that. So it's
that's beautiful. I'll like to know more about it. We'll keep in touch.
Yes,
And
definitely.
thank you to all the viewers who tuned in and spent this much time listening to both of us. Thank you so much, guys.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you. Take care. Take care.
Bye.